to the Mayor Karen Bass's, the 1,000 firefighters that were available, but there was no engines for them because of the $17 million that Chief Crowley had asked the mayor for 9 weeks before, and Mayor Karen Bass denied it. So they may have been available, but they didn't have the equipment they needed. Not to mention Janice Quinones, who Mayor Karen Bass put into her position of power at the LADWP. She drained both of these reservoirs that these firefighters needed to put out these fires. A lot of people will talk about climate change and hurricane force winds. The winds in the Pacific Palisades never reached higher than 40 miles per hour. For those first 6 hours, they didn't go above 27 miles per hour. So without those two reservoirs filled with 117 million gallons and 5 million gallons, these firefighters had to fly all the way to Malibu and Encino to get water. So that, to me, is the most dangerous thing that the mayor put us up against.
Mr. Pratt, a follow-up here, though. What would you do moving forward that would make this better 2 years from now if we face the same situation?
Well, first off, as mayor, I will never drain the reservoirs that we need for wildfire protection. There's this conspiracy now that they're empty, that they were for drinking water. But if you research it, they were actually made for wildfire protection. As mayor, I'm gonna add 20 dip sites all around the communities, connecting to pools. So God forbid the water system goes down again, these dip sites that'll be connected to individuals' pools will fill up for the helicopters to have water.
Mayor Bass, do you have a response to that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's saying several things that are completely inaccurate. First of all, there was one reservoir that was out of commission. He is correct. 1 million years ago, it was for wildfires, but over the last 30, 40 years, it's been for drinking water. He talked about the winds. That is just completely inaccurate. If that were accurate, then the planes would have been able to fly. And so the winds reached close to 100 miles an hour, and the planes were unable to fly. So if there were reservoirs, if that reservoir had been open, it would not have worked. We had two other reservoirs totaling 8 billion gallons that were available. But could not fly.
Yes, she mentioned me. So she's an incredible liar. Everyone on their phones, Google it.
There were 100 LAPD officers working with the feds today. Your response to what went down in MacArthur Park?
It's unbelievable. I hope we have the FBI, the DEA, the CDC, the ATF. The more resources we can make the streets of LA safe with federal money, amazing. I talk to thousands of moms a week. They do not feel safe in the street. No matter what these crime statistics are telling anybody, it's not how people feel on the street. There's a difference between people reporting crime and feeling unsafe on the street. And with Councilwoman Rahman, people are more concerned about getting stabbed on the street than the lights being out. So I think Mayor Bass funding the police was important, actually.
Mr. Langer's Deli, which, as you all know, is a staple of downtown Los Angeles, is asking all of you on the stage right now to end the Needle Run giveaway program. So my question, Mayor, first of all to you, yes or no? It's run by the city-run Needle program.
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Councilmember Rahman?
No.
Mr. Pratt?
Absolutely no needles and pipes for drug addicts on the street, ever.
What is your strategy for getting more people, recruiting more officers and paying for them?
You know, it's more expensive than hiring them is overtime, because that's what these salaries for the fire department that everyone's complaining about, everyone's understaffed. So first off, I'm gonna bring hiring back to the LAPD. Right now, the LAPD is hired by the same people that hire sanitation, and we need to bring it back like it was 20 plus years ago so that police hire police, and we need a 10-year plan. It's gonna take 10 years to get to the 12,500 officers that we need, and that needs to be a priority. Our sheriff's partner, they're the same size. They have $1 billion more budget for the same size. So this idea that Councilwoman Rahman keeps saying that the police department is overfunded, public safety should be our #1 priority. And we're gonna find all this money when we stop her useless open bed plans that actually doesn't put drug addicts in these housing that we're spending billions of dollars, and we're gonna actually start checking where this money is going. Not to mention, when you get rid of all the drug addicts off the street, the police won't be responding to the drug addicts all day long.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Now, getting off the street is voluntary. Should that change if a bed or a shelter is available? Mr. Pratt, we're going to start with you. Yes or no?
It's illegal to live on the street. So, yes, everyone needs to go inside.
Okay, Mayor Bass.
Everybody needs to go inside. Making it illegal and arresting people is not the way to solve this problem.
Ms. Rahman.
Yes, people need to go inside. When they're offered shelter, they go inside.
You don't get an opportunity
It is illegal.
to say no. So it's unanimous here. Next question. Do you support the ordinance that restricts encampments in front of schools or daycare centers? Mayor Bass, I'm going to start with you. Yes, or no? Ms. Rahman, yes or no?
I support keeping our streets safe. I did vote against the structure of this particular ordinance. And it is because, at its best,
it's a yes or no.
It does not. The way this ordinance was structured,
It's no.
a yes
does,
or no.
it does
Yes
not
or
keep.
no.
It
We'll
does
take
not
that
keep
as a
our
no.
children safe. It does not
Mr.
keep our
Pratt.
children safe. No,
What I was saying is she's fighting because she doesn't think there's a difference between 1 foot or 500 feet for kids' safety with drug addicts with machetes
Again,
in front
we'll
of
take that.
schools.
Yes or no?
Of course, we do not want encampments in front of schools, parks, daycare.
Okay,
I don't want vehicles.
Mayor, you talked about inside safe. Let's go into that a little bit.
You advocate for what some have called get help or get out of the way. What is that and how do you do it?
I don't know who made up that name. First off, I just want to say, Councilwoman Robin acts like she doesn't have any authority with this homelessness. She was the third most powerful person in city council. She runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe, I like to say inside safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her and we can find some of these people she's gonna offer treatment for. She's gonna get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house for 70, what did you say? 3,000 people for $400 million? This is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team.
Yeah, I want to just say to everybody who's watching today, you're going to watch today as Mayor Bass and Spencer Pratt attack me because they want to run against each other in the general election. Each of them thinks that running against each other is what's going to help them win. And they don't want to run against me because my ideas, which are based on real results in my district, which are based on real data.
First off, Mayor Bass and I are definitely not working together. I blame this person for burning my house and my parents' house and my town and all my neighbors down. I am not working with Mayor Bass. Second off, if I wanted to run against anybody, it would be the council member who is terrible. Mayor Bass has at least been a mayor for almost 4 years and has, as she talked about earlier, the unions, all the unions endorse Mayor Bass. You think it's easier to run against the incumbent mayor with all the unions or a random city council member who's been a failure for 6 years? I would much rather run against Councilwoman Rahman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Asking you about density development imposed by the state.
Yeah, to be clear, I just said I'm gonna have 40 blocks when I get rid of all the drug addicts that are sleeping on the sides of all these empty buildings. So we will have so much high density. I'll have so many bike lanes for Mayor, or excuse me, Councilwoman Rahman to have all her bike lanes. We're gonna have all that. We have plenty of places to build. We don't need to put a 7-story cement structure in a single family neighborhood with no parking. I actually lived the consequences of high density on small streets, and it's people can burn alive in an emergency or in an earthquake or any type of evacuation situation. Adding these high density buildings onto these teeny tiny streets doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm fine with building where they make sense. I love building. I think it's great. I think they should look a little better than what Councilwoman Rahman wants, like prison-like boxes, but I think they should have some style. Not to mention the fact that Councilwoman Rahman is fighting Mayor Bass on Sacramento, where she just was telling me, this is LA, this is LA. Where's her LA pride?
Okay, Mr. Pratt. Listen, you can answer this next question because it relates to it. Downtown Los Angeles seems to be in a state of crisis. What is your plan for downtown? Can we afford to let it die? Would you agree to bring city workers back full-time to the office in order to help some of the businesses?
What's your plan?
Thank you, sir. Well, first off, I was just talking to my friend Rachel, who works in downtown LA. Downtown is so unsafe now that they have to serve the food. All the employees have to eat inside. They can't risk going out. That's why all these beautiful restaurants are closing, because it's so unsafe. So before we require city workers to go back into any buildings, we need to enforce the laws on the street. Councilwoman Rahman is talking about safety, yet when animal rescue activist Rebecca Corey came in and said the dogs are being tortured and abused on the streets of downtown, she walked out of the hearing. She doesn't care about safety. She doesn't care about anything she's talking about. At least Mayor Bass pretends to care.
We have a long way to go, but we are absolutely making headway because of policies that I put in place.
Mr. Pratt, are we doing enough to bring Hollywood back?
Absolutely not. And that's great. Mayor Bass did those credits back in the day. But we don't have tax credits that even Massachusetts has better tax credits than Hollywood. We needed a mayor 3 years ago that was going to Sacramento and fighting the governor to get uncapped tax credits. We need post-production tax credits. And Councilwoman Rahman will tell you, my husband's a producer, blah, blah, blah. The reality is she's been in power for 5 years. Now, all of a sudden, she has these tweets and these posts, and she's doing Substacks. Both of these people have been the reason why there's no more Hollywood. Not to mention, even if they do, these things, we're still gonna have drug addicts all over the street because they're treatment first, open beds, not mandatory treatment. Do you know I talked to producers? They have to pay gang members right now to keep the streets safe, to go film anything on the streets of LA. So absolutely no, these two politicians have failed Hollywood times 1,000.